Hello there and welcome to Legal Break. I'm Maureen Akers and with me today is Gary Bruce. Gary, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here again, thank you.
Every Wednesday we love to have you here and talk about legal issues of the day. And
right.
Speaking of, one that's kind of been in the news real recently are these water wars. I've been hearing this for years, as long as I think I've been living in Georgia. There's water wars between Georgia and Florida. What's that all about?
Georgia, Florida, and Alabama, but mostly I think Florida is the instigator here,
Yeah.
you know, and it's really and I'm like you, for 25 years we've been hearing about these things and trying to resolve it and what are the issues. It really amounts to Florida doesn't want Georgia using all the Chattahoochee water and the Flint water, all
Right.
the water that comes down into the valley and then goes down into the Apalachicola area.
Right.
So they've been fighting it for a long time. Nothing's changed that I've seen. You know, we've had some corrections to how we treat waste management and such, but recently, in the last few years, Florida decided to take an environmental approach to it, and so they've argued that the Apalachicola Bay and the oyster population is impacted by the lack of flow or the impact from runoff from agriculture.
Right.
And
right.
so
it's
the Supreme Court of the United States actually appointed a special master to hear this, and he issued a ruling, 70-page ruling recently.
Yeah, on Georgia. So Georgia is claiming a small victory on this. Tell us a little bit about that. Does that mean the war's over?
It's an interesting victory. I haven't read the whole opinion, but what I understand, no, I don't think the war's ever going to be over. No. But I don't think anybody has to change how they use their water just yet.
Right.
But what the Supreme Court special master said was they didn't name all the necessary parties. So it's a kind of a technicality that they didn't bring the Corps of Engineers in, so who was he going to order to do something? So he says, I can't really change anything without having all the people here that need to be here. So I don't know that there's a final resolution of it. Certainly he did say there wasn't enough evidence to say there would have been an adverse impact on the oyster harvests, but well, we shall see.
And that was the main claim, Florida.
And that was what that kind of related to. So. For now, for the next whatever, Atlanta can keep drinking water and we can keep bathing and canoeing down the Chattahoochee, I guess. You know.
Yes, certain parts of the Chattahoochee we bathe in, right? And certain ones we want to be careful of, right? So is there an end in sight to this water war, Gary? I mean, I think you said,
I just don't think there'll ever be.
Yeah.
I think there's too many people.
Because it's so important, isn't it, to all three states,
And
really.
with climate changes and what we see with, you know, we're just seeing so much happening, I can't imagine that, I think there's going to be problems for a long time.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today and
Thank
clearing
you
some of that up. And we look forward to seeing you on the very next Legal Break.